welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian, and I'm presenting to you from beautiful Budapest here in Central Europe. I hope everybody is having a safe and healthy weekend so far, being productive at home and enjoying life to its fullest. In this class, students, we are looking at speaking part 3. We're looking for vocabulary and good quality answers. Of course, these classes are presented to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS and gieltshelp.com for the general version of the test. I'll show you these websites real quick while we wait for your peers to join. This is the academic website here with the blue background at aehelp.com. Click that big red button to join our premium package and get all of those goodies, including 6 original exams, over 100 hours of video lessons, and a fully interactive course. This is the general version of the website here with the green background. Click that big red button to join the premium package there. Hi, Elena. Hi, Preeti. Good to see students in the class, and welcome members. If you have questions, students, just send me an email, adrian@aehelp.com, and I will gladly answer. Hi, Hemant. Nice to see more of our members joining in on this class. Also, students, if you like working from paperback books, we do offer our exams on Amazon. Also, search for our titles, AEhelp's Academic IELTS or GEhelp's General IELTS, and you'll find our exam books. There's 2 for academic and 2 for general. We use the academic for these live streams. 7777282. I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. All right. Roshni says in the side window. Yeah, I see that, Roshni. Just give me 2 seconds. All right. So here we go with today's speaking part 3 lesson. We will have more classes from Wednesday. So classes, students, they're usually Wednesday to Saturday according to Central European time. The members chat classes are 13:30 to 14:30, and the all chat classes are 15 to 16 o'clock. So we will be continuing the IELTS live classes on Wednesday with some speaking part 1. So for now, we'll get into our speaking part 3. Here we go, students. So does everybody remember what topic we covered in part 2 yesterday? Part 2, of course, is the cue card, and part 3 in the speaking section is connected to part 2. So the speaking has 3 parts. The first part, you get about 5-6 questions on a general topic like hobbies or sports or pets, talking about you. And then you'll get a card. You'll have to talk for about 2 minutes for the card. And then you will have some questions related to the topic of part 2. Yesterday we covered the cue card, part 2. And that was, I believe, a members chat class. And Rajveer says, we talked about somebody brave. And Roshni says, yeah, brave person. Anybody remember who that brave person was? Renew, good. Renew says it's a courageous person. So a brave, part 2 was brave, courageous, fearless. So vocabulary, right? We're going to focus on lots of paraphrasing today. Fearless, those all mean the same person. That's what we focused on. And Preeti says it was about our dad, Dr. Hakim. Yes, very good. So fearless person, we talked about Dr. Hakim. Dad. Yeah, very good. All right, everybody's paying attention. Jahangir says dauntless. Yeah, dauntless is also a good paraphrase for fearless. Excellent. Okay. All right, so that was part 2. Now again, remember students, to get those high scores, remember to connect part 2 to part 3 when possible. And we had Ferdovs, I'm not sure if you're in here, Ferdovs, one of our members in the last class 30 minutes ago asked, can we use personal examples? Definitely. If you can connect some smooth examples from part 2, and part 2 was someone personal, like your dad, Dr. Hakim, then you can connect that in your part 3 answers, okay? So keep that in mind. All right. So we talked about Dr. Hakim, and the 2 minutes ended, and now the examiner took back the card with the questions, the paper, the paper and the pencil, and now the examiner says, okay, now I will continue with part 3, and I will ask you some more questions related to the topic of part 2. Let's talk about courage. All right, great. First question. What are some different ways that people can be brave? So often you'll get these specific yet very open questions for part 3. So visualize, picture situations when people can be brave, and then start your answer. You don't have to speak fast, but you do need to be fluent. So give me a nice full sentence answer to what are some different ways that people can be brave. Now, if you're going, oh, that's really hard, it shouldn't be, because you talked about this in part 2. Okay? So Gaming with Buddha says, by helping others, yes, Gaming with Buddha, again, connect with part 2. Give me a full sentence situation. Renew, same thing. In dire situations, sure, but give me a full sentence. Elena says there are a number of ways that people can show acts of bravery. In my eyes, conquering our own fears is the most courageous act. Take an example of frontline health workers who confront their fears of getting sick and instead save millions of people during the COVID-19 pandemic. Sorry, not instead, Elena, and save millions of people. Okay. It's good. Elena, you don't have the follow-up question yet, so that will be asked a little bit later. Seni Surani says emergency situations can change people to becoming brave and saving lives. Saving lives in threatening situations are possible triggers. Sure. Charlie Sen, our member, says there are several ways to become brave, like accepting guilt, helping others in a pandemic situation. Charlie, I'm not sure what you mean about guilt, so be sure to clarify that. Okay. Kamal Sharma says, well, there would be different ways to be courageous, nice paraphrasing, Kamal, such as to be social workers, rescuing people who are stuck in difficult situations, like a firefighter, right, Kamal? Okay, so good. Remember, students, we just talked about it. Connect to part 2, and I'm sure many of you saw that class yesterday by answering that last question. So, well, one way people can be brave is to sacrifice. Let's change brave to, brave, because we use courageous or courage, so fearless. So one way people can be fearless is to sacrifice their own safety by helping others in difficult situations. Just like I said about my father, Dr. Hakim, who is working with COVID-19 patients in the previous part. Also, policemen and women, as well as firefighters, frequently put their lives on the line to help others And one more way that people are brave is in certain sports like hockey or rock climbing. All right. So here is a nice descriptive, clear example. Now, again, we're focusing on vocabulary that you should use. Vocabulary that you need to use are words that paraphrase repetitive ideas like courage in the speaking. So repeat after me. What are some different ways that people can be brave? Well, one way people can be fearless is to sacrifice their own safety by helping others in difficult situations. Just like I said about my father, Dr. Hakim, who is working with COVID-19 patients in the previous part. Also, policemen and women, as well as firefighters, put their lives on the line frequently to help others. And one more way that people are brave is in certain sports like hockey and rock climbing. So visualize, okay? A couple of just quick corrections to my typing here. There's a slight break there. All right. Now, in part 3, you will get a lot of follow-up questions. So what the question sheet looks like for the examiner is question, a main question, and then a follow-up question. So another question in connection to that question. So here is the follow-up question for this particular one. Which of these takes the most courage and why? Okay, give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. It doesn't have to be the truth. It's just your opinion. It has to make sense. Okay. So Kevin Bowie says, I believe putting one's life at risk to save others in the midst of a public health crisis is the boldest step anyone can take, since they have to overcome their fear of potentially succumbing to the disease as well as orphaning their children. This is why frontline medical staff, including my dad, are regarded as the heroes of our time. Beautiful answer, Kevin. Nice use of grammar and vocabulary. That's a band 9 response. Well done, Kevin. Fantastic. Roshni says, well, all are courageous, but if I have to choose, I would say doctors are more dauntless to fight against hard times, like to slow down the COVID-19 these days, as they are working on the front line day in and day out. So Roshni, you can say day in and day out. Okay. All right, let's see some more answers for this one. Ranveer Singh says, well, when individuals do dangerous tasks like bungee jump, they are more fearless because bungee jumping is a feeling of bravery that plays an important part in people's mental capacity to overcome their own fears. Ranveer, I had to kind of change the end of what you're writing there because it didn't really make sense. You left it hanging, okay? So make sure to finish your ideas. Shashwati says, I think helping others needs more courage than any other activity because there lies a sense of responsibility. If someone cannot give actual to support to those in need, it would be harmful to the recipient as well. Very nice answer, Shashwati. I really like your explanation. So I'm going to take that one. It's a very logical and a beautiful explanation, Saswati. Let me borrow that from you. I really enjoyed it. Okay, I thought it made a lot of sense, what you said there. So good job. So I think that helping others in times of need, such as medical staff, who are on the front lines in in today's pandemic are the most fearless because they not only need to overcome their own concerns for their well-being, but they also have the added pressure of and responsibility of saving the lives of others. This makes their jobs truly challenging. Okay. Good, sure. So here we go, students. Some really nice answers. I'm loving the range of vocabulary and grammar being used by a lot of our students. I can definitely see improvements in those students who are joining these classes regularly. So good job, Saswati. Really nice logic. Okay. Repeat after me. Which of these takes the most courage and why? I think that helping others in times of need, such as medical staff, who are on the front lines in today's pandemic, are the most fearless because they not only need to overcome their own concerns for their well-being, but they also have the added pressure and responsibility of saving the lives of others. This makes their jobs truly challenging. Very nice answer, Saswati. Well done. Okay. Students, I saw a few of you writing front lines in a few different ways. Notice how front lines is one word. So when you're practicing English, okay, this is just a tip. When you're practicing your speaking, it's a good idea to write out what you say at times. This will also help your writing and comprehension. Make sure to use an English version of Microsoft Word, okay? So use an English version of Microsoft Word so that you can, or you can use an international version as well, so that you can spell check your vocabulary and learn which words are one word, two words, or hyphenated words. Okay, so for example, the word nowadays is one word, or front lines. Okay. All right, let's go to the next question. Keep going. You're doing a fantastic job, students. Here we go with the next question. Some people think that being brave is often also being foolish. Why do people say this? Give me a nice full sentence answer for this question. I'm really curious what kind of answers you come up with. So some people think that being brave is often also being foolish. Why do people say this? Okay, so what's the reason? Why might somebody say, yeah, that person's brave, but they're kind of foolish at the same time? EC Music says, I think people say so because putting one's life at risk is not a rational decision. Like now, doctors who are fighting against COVID-19 really risk not only their own life, but also their families in order to save others. Okay, EC Music, I like it. It's a good explanation. Flower Sun says, in my opinion, being brave needs a decision in a situation to help others or defend an idea or an object, a place, because if some situations, the price to pay back the bravery is extremely expensive. between life and death. Flower Son, I would rethink that. You're making a few grammatical mistakes and it's a bit confusing. Elena Mori, I remember, says, yes, I 100% agree with this notion. Acting beyond my limits or pushing myself too much to achieve a goal is nothing but a foolish act. This type of foolishness not only makes me vulnerable, but also to my surroundings. What do you mean, Elena? Give me an example. Now, Elena, in part 3, be really careful. You can use I, you can use a personal example, but you have to answer the question first. So, Elena, what you should do is turn your answer around, okay? So people may behave outside of their limits in some form of bravery that makes them vulnerable to injury as well as their surroundings. And then you can say, like, when I am driving my car too fast, this is, okay? So Elena, first start with the general answer, and then you can make a smooth example of I or me, okay? So first, no I. First start with a third person, Elena, then go to the first person. So third person start, first person example finish. Thang Yuan says, I guess I would have to say that there are probably a number of factors involved. First and foremost, the chief causes might be that people doing brave actions will be praised or held in high esteem. Thang, you have good English, but you're not answering the question directly. I still don't understand from your answer why people say that being brave is also being foolish. Okay? But you says, well, the statement of being foolish means that some people think that they cannot do the work because it needs a lot of courage and they lack the facilities and tools to accomplish this. Okay, clarity, students, clarity. Let me help you with this a little bit. Okay, I see a lot of answers that are a little bit awkward. So let's figure out why. Okay. Try it this way, okay? So some people think that being brave is often also being foolish. Why do people say this? Visualize a brave person who is also foolish. What do you see? Tell me what you see. So if I ask you to close your eyes and picture a person who is brave but also foolish, what do you see? Okay? Boomy says, I see a person racing a car, maybe in the city, okay, on the highway. So what do you see? What is inside of your head? If you cannot see it, the examiner can't see it, okay? Preeti, foolish kind of means stupid. It's not as strong of a word. Stupid is almost an offensive curse word, so you wouldn't hear that in the IELTS, but foolish you could hear, okay? So Vanita says, when somebody puts his life on risk knowingly that others believe that person is foolish, I don't see it, Vanita. I don't see the picture. Okay, what do you actually see? Okay, so Kamal says, I see a mountain climber. Kamal Sharma, be more specific. I see a mountain climber who isn't using any rope. Okay, or I see a mountain climber climbing a mountain in the rain. Okay. Roshni says, I see a non-swimmer who jumps in the water to save the life of others. That's good, Roshni. That's a good visualization. So picture a person who can't swim and they're jumping off of the boat to try to help somebody else who's in the water. Maybe look around for some rope first, right? Okay. So Charlie says, yes, like some people are fond of reckless driving. They think it's an act of bravery, but they're being foolish, okay? Harpal says, I see a doctor treating patients without wearing a mask, without taking precautions. Good. Now you see it. Now you can answer it. Okay, students, let's try this one more time. I'd like to see some better answers with some good explanations and examples. So Elena says somebody who's being a daredevil. Good. Now you're on the right track, okay? So what are we learning here, students? Visualize the concepts before you answer or while you answer, and you'll give a much better answer, okay? All right. Sri Ramya says, I see a man going out without a mask and shaking hands with people. Good. All right. So let's try this one more time. Some people think that being brave is often also being foolish. Why do people say this? Now, can you give me a good answer? Hi, Lin Huang. Yes, I can say hello to you. Students, I see everybody in the chat. It's impossible for me to address everyone. Hi, Lin. Okay. So, Pooja says, coming forward and surrendering to help others in a crisis would not only challenge the living healthcare workers and policemen, it would also lead to being highly vulnerable to the pandemic. Pooja, I'm not sure what you're saying there. Try to rethink that. Okay, so answer this question. I'm going to do the same, all right? I certainly agree with this statement, and the reason people commonly express this idea is because oftentimes individuals will take unnecessary risks, putting in danger not only their own lives, but also the lives of others. Like when people drive recklessly through a city, or these days, when an ill individual goes out into public for no good reason. All right? So that would be my answer for this question. Again, visualize. See what you're saying. If you don't see it, your examiner can't see it. Good human communication involves visual language. Okay? All right, Cyrillic, I fully agree with this statement because expressing somebody's personal opinion in our country is a very dangerous act. People can be brave, but first of all, they have to think about their families. Still a little bit unclear, okay? All right, repeat after me, students. Some people think that being brave is often also being foolish. Why do people say this? Notice all the paraphrasing here. I certainly agree with the statement, and the reason people commonly express this idea is because oftentimes individuals will take unnecessary risks. Remember this, will take unnecessary risk. There are different ways that you can say that, if you don't know that. Putting in danger not only their own lives, but also the lives of others, like when people drive recklessly through a city, or these days when an ill individual goes out into public for no good reason. All right. Now I see a couple of good answers coming up. Charlie says, yes, I totally agree with that. There are certain people who are brave, but at the same time lack common sense. Very nice, Charlie. They not only play with their own life, but also they put others in danger. Like, and then you're coming up with an example. And there are lots of examples where people do this, right? All right. Roshni says, well, I completely concur with this statement. A brave person can be foolish who does not show a sense of responsibility and takes random risks, like a doctor who treats a COVID patient and doesn't wear a mask. Good, Roshni. Very good. All right. Abhishek says, in my opinion, people who are thinking of fearless people are also being foolish because they're not only taking risk of their own life, but affecting their loved ones, such as people who are not wearing medical masks going out into a pandemic. All right, I think you have the right idea, Abhishek. It's a little bit unclear. Gurpinder Kaur says, I think there is a thin line between being fearless and foolish. Assisting people while putting their own life at risks, like doctors curing people without protective gear, is not only foolish, but also risky to the lives of their community and loved ones. Good, Gurpinder. Nice. All right. So here's the follow-up question. Can you give examples? We already did that. When you have this happen in part 3, don't just repeat the same example. So here I give the example, like when people drive recklessly through a city, or these days when an ill individual goes into the public, but give more examples, okay? So what you need to do, if you already included examples, and the examiner says, can you give examples? Then say yes, sure. Aside from the examples I just said, reckless or irresponsible behavior often exhibited during the teenage years comes to mind. Like when boys jump off a high cliff into water or ride on top of a train to impress their friends. Okay? Lots and lots of examples. Just visualize them. All right? Just visualize them. Can anybody else think of some examples? So repeat after me while you're thinking. Can you give some examples? Yes, sure. Aside from the examples I just said, irresponsible behavior, often exhibited during the teenage years, comes to mind. Like when boys jump off high cliffs into water and ride on top of trains to impress their friends. All right. Pavan says, yes, for instance, developed countries are acting foolishly by treating COVID-19 with anti-malarial drugs, which is amateur and ineffective. It creates false hope. I don't know about that, Pavan, but again, IELTS is not about being right or wrong. It's about making sense. And your answer, it can make sense, Pavan. So I would give you a band 9 if you can express that clearly. Okay. All right, everyone. Let's go to the next question. We're still on the topic of bravery. Here we go. How has technology had an influence on people's bravery? That's a good one. Okay, so how has technology had an influence on people's bravery? Now, before you answer that, let's try this one more time. So when you think of being brave and technology, what do you see? Okay, I want you really to work on your visual abilities. Hi, Sutis. What do you see, Suti's world or Suti's world? What do you see when you think of being brave and technology? Okay, Abhishek says, I see a person on TV doing a fire stunt. All right, that's very imaginative, Abhishek. Maybe keep it a little bit. Okay, good. So Rajveer says, I'm just going to write down what some of you are seeing here, okay? So Rajveer says, I see a person capturing their actions. I see a person filming their actions and putting it online. Yeah, GoPro, right? I'm sure many of you are thinking that. Okay, that's technology and being brave, sure. Natalie, robots doing dangerous work, that's not bravery. Okay, so how has technology had an influence on people's bravery, Natalie? Not on dangerous situations. Stay on topic, okay? Fawaz says a hacker hacking into a company. Okay. Nilofer says, I see a person taking selfies in a dangerous location, such as a cliff. Yeah, okay. Now I see some answers. So now you're visualizing. Good. What else are you seeing? Okay, I'm surprised nobody said I see a Formula One race car driver going really fast around the track. That's what I see. So a person in a fast boat, car, or plane. Nobody saw that with technology and being brave? Okay. So I see a mountain climber with rope and special equipment. Okay. We watch a lot of TV and social media, so we definitely see a lot of combinations of people using technology and being brave. Okay, Pooja says, I see a journalist interviewing a person with COVID-19. Sure, so it's put us into dangerous situations. Ravi, very good. There we go. Ravi says, girls, guys, how about skydiving? Okay, remember what I said? Try one word, skydiving and scuba diving. All right. So now that we see all of this fantastic information in our mind's eye, right? This is our third eye in our head. We can see inside in our soul and our brain, and that's where good ideas come from. So use it during the IELTS, okay? How has technology had an influence on people's bravery? Okay, we have all this great information. Now, give me a nice full sentence answer. Okay. Gurpinder says, nowadays, technology has had a big impact on people's thinking. So many foolish acts can be seen on the internet, like people jumping into a lake or doing professional stunts without supervision because technology lets them capture and share their bravery, like using a GoPro. Gurpinder, good start. Make the connection with technology, okay? Stronger connection. All right, and I like how Elena has observed that this is present perfect, has had an influence. Very good, Elena. Elena says, technology has had a great impact on individuals' smartness and knowledge. Nowadays, we don't have any fear while exploring deep woods because we have GPS and drones to keep us from getting lost, and the internet to help us explore beforehand. Yeah, so technology helps us learn about dangerous situations so that we become braver. Right, Elena? Very good. Okay, so this is Elena's answer. Well, tech has had an immense impact on people's courage, such as helping individuals explore dangerous situations beforehand, like using GPS before going on a hike through the wilderness. Also, a lot of tech has been developed to protect us in such situations, like taking a rifle on a long hike to defend against animal attacks. right? So again, lots of great possible answers here as long as you're visualizing. So here we go. Well, repeat after me, students. This is a speaking class, and although you're doing a great job typing, also make sure to speak. Speak and repeat. So, well, tech has had an immense impact on people's courage, such as helping individuals explore dangerous situations beforehand, like using GPS before going on a hike through the wilderness. Also, a lot of tech has been developed to protect us in such situations, like taking a rifle on the long hike to defend against animal attacks. Okay? Vocabulary: protect, defend. Present perfect. Okay? Watch the present perfect in the question. How has technology had? Watch the present perfect in the answer. Tech has had. Tech has been developed. Okay? So if the question has present perfect, show present perfect. Use that vocabulary. Use that grammar. Okay? All right. Follow-up question. Why are people so driven? Driven means motivated in this case. So why are people so driven to create technology which elicits fear, such as fast cars? Okay? This part the examiner is adding here to help you. Okay? When the question contains some difficult words like driven and elicit, just pay careful attention to the whole question. You can figure it out. So one more time, why are people so driven to create technology which elicits fear, such as fast cars? So why do we do that? Why do we create machines and technology which involves creating a sense of fear or being scared? Again, visualize, see it. So Pooja says, technology, although was made to save people's lives, today people use it as a tool for entertainment. For instance, parachutes were made to save lives, but today they are an equipment for skydiving and having fun. Yeah, so Pooja, what you're saying is we develop technology which elicits a sense of danger for entertainment. Maksud, elicit fear means it creates or pulls out fear in the situation. Okay? So elicit means to pull out. All right? If I tell you a joke, like why did the chicken cross the road to get to the egg on the other side, you find that funny, I'm eliciting laughter. You're laughing, I elicit laughter. So I pull laughter from you. Okay? The word elicit means to create in another. All right, Elena says technology makes us faster and more competitive with others. As per human nature, people like challenges. I think they feel an adrenaline rush when driving a fast car. And this is the reason for such technology. Elena, always refer back to the question. Okay? Joginder Kaur says technology immensely affects people because they can study from home, start teaching, start their bus. Joginder, you're off topic. We're not talking about the use of technology. Students, careful. Part 3 is connected to Part 2. If all of the questions are about being brave, courageous, fearless, this one is also going to be about that. Okay? All right. Kevin Bowie says, the incentive for people to devise technology which creates fear is either to overcome irrational feelings or to seek thrills that can break the monotony of everyday life. With these devices, individuals can practice as much as possible in a simulated environment where the level of danger and elements are controlled. I really like the first part, Kevin Bowie, of what you're saying. The second part is a little bit confusing. I think you're talking about simulation, Okay, it's a little bit different, right? So I think most humans are adventurous by nature. This means we are entertained by a sense of danger. An expression that comes to mind is an adrenaline junkie, which describes a person who is addicted to doing scary acts, such as a skydiver. And of course, we devise technology like fast cars and ice skates to help us in this quest. All right. So there's a nice high band, complex, creative, imaginative answer for you. IELTS is testing your English. IELTS is testing your communication. IELTS is testing your thinking. Here we go, students. Repeat after me. Why are people so driven to create technology which elicits fears such as fast cars? I think most humans are adventurous by nature. This means we are entertained by a sense of danger. An expression that comes to mind is an adrenaline junkie, which describes a person who is addicted to doing scary acts, such as a skydiver. And of course, we devise technology like fast cars and ice skates to help us in this quest. All right, students, so lots and lots of new words in today's speaking. Lots of grammar as well. Make sure to review this. This video will be on the channel. And here at the end, I have a few more questions for you to try at home. Let's talk about self-sacrifice. So for homework, you can try these, record it on your phone. If you send it to my email by MP3, I'll let you know what kind of a band score you can expect for your speaking. What are the common reasons that people sacrifice their health and safety? Is this always good? How can people minimize risk when placing themselves in harm's way to help others? What can society do to help with this? So try to answer those in your own time. Again, this video is up on our channel after it processes in about an hour. And if you like these lessons, you want to support us, you want more, you want to see HD lessons with no advertising, join our premium package, aehelp.com for academic IELTS and gieltshelp.com for general. There are also original practice exams there for you, as well as a fully interactive course. That's all the time for now, students. Much love to all of you from Central Europe. I hope you have a safe, relaxing, rejuvenating rest of your weekend. And I will see you again on Wednesday for another week of live IELTS classes. You are very welcome, Ranita Rishi. Welcome, Violet Nguyen. Welcome, Neha. Thank you for your emojis, Eugene. Bye, everyone. Much love to all of you.